All right, welcome everybody to another week of This Week in Showdown. So, got a special episode. We have multiple guests this time. So, Brett, Matt, how are you guys?
Doing good.
I'm here. I'm doing well.
So, yep. Matt is the manager of NiteFelina in our 12-person league, and we wanted to bring him on and hear his thoughts on that as well. So, we're doing a special recording here on a Saturday instead of a Sunday, so he is available. So, you guys get to watch any baseball in this shortened week?
Other than the Rangers stuff, I did what I catch. I caught the end of the JT Ginn game when when things kind of exploded on in there. I watched a little bit of the Garrett Cole comeback start last night. Was that a Actually, my Matt took my kids for the night, so my wife and I went out to a bar and caught the game they had on the TV there.
All right. So my wife is always like, "Oh, I guess we'll just end up at the sports bar." That's her like little. She's not thrilled when that's like where we end up. So,
That was her preference. Is anywhere that has good beer, so that's where we we have a place in town we like to go to. So.
so all right,
Yeah, and
Matt.
I just follow the Orioles, their endless race with your Red Sox to the bottom. I got to get up super early, so I don't get to catch every game. So I missed the Shane Ball's amazing. Well, that was in the middle of the day. I was at work. Shane Ball's great start that the bullpen blew up. I got to watch the Rays, and that's a treat. That's basically it, though. If the Orioles aren't playing them, I'm not really able to watch.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, the Orioles have a couple interesting like showdown specific guys, which is like if you're gonna have a team that's bad, you want to have like two or three guys that are like, well, that guy will hold up, right? Like that guy will put out like an amazing card that I could play with.
Yeah, they're gonna have potential for two all-star catchers here and two cards that probably don't want because of defense, but they'll be intriguing bats.
Yeah, I mean Henderson. I mean Bobby Witt makes it tough because they're so redundant, but he's like the power shortstop. So and then obviously Rushman's doing well. I think one of your pitchers will probably end up having a pretty good card. So Orioles could be all right.
Yeah, Bradish is turning it around. Boz might be decent. Bacello's the catcher, and Alonso's starting to look like Alonso. So there's another card that might be that double home run card that you need to get. Looking like more like
Yeah,
an 8 so far, not a 9, but we'll see.
yeah, that was when he had that 50 home run year. The idea that he would just be like these, 10, 16 to 29, 9, 16 to 20 type cards, and it's like, is he really like a 9, 18 to 20, and then like 8, 17 to 20 guy? That's
Time has
I'm
shown
curious.
that's exactly what he is.
Yep. So, all right, we're gonna go through the batters again, the pitchers as normal. It's a bit of a short week, so the picking is a little bit light because we only have 6 days, and some of the Saturday games are still going here. So we'll hop in here on the hitters. So I think the big one here was Juan Soto coming back from injury. Is like looks like he's back.
Yeah, it does. It's exciting. That team needs something there. Um, they're struggling, but hopefully Soto can be what he does.
Yeah, I'm curious because it's gonna be tough for him to get to the counting stats. So it's like, can he lock in that like second tier on like a pro rate?
Yeah, he's not going to have this 600-point card again. But yeah, can he? Yeah, is he going to be a really good value card in its potential?
Yeah, not everyone's judge and just has like a 600 card like year over year.
Yeah, I saw a headline of the Mets making a return this week, and you see Bichette's on there too. So these guys are starting to hit the ball, and the Mets are actually winning a game here and there.
Yeah, Bichette's on my fantasy team, so I was shocked to see him have 3 home runs. Uh, Also, a couple of Red Sox on the list with Wilson Contreras with a pair of doubles out in Kansas. Well, I think one was in Kansas City and one was in Fenway Park, but he will probably be the slowest guy with a triple on his chart if he gets another one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Speed C with a triple on the chart would be great. Yeah, yeah. And
Yep.
then
The Red Sox and the Diamondbacks are the teams that's like the option for because they just have the weird park.
yeah,
I think Christopher Sanchez is like the guy right now with his shutout inning streak.
yeah, it's his Cy Young
33?
to lose, and his innings he's pitching again. He's heading towards that 7 inning pitch guard again.
I think he's at 75, so 200 is the magic number. Putting up an 8, eating 8 of them in a single start looks great. Do we have any Orioles on the list here for you, Matt? I'm trying to run.
No, because I don't think Boz pitched enough innings.
No, yeah, and this is
Kumar Barker had a great start. I mean, that was
not a
encouraging.
great start.
Oh no, sorry, that's right. It was not a start. Yeah, he came in the second. Yeah.
7 2/3 innings of excellent relief.
Yeah.
He will not be a 7-inning pitch reliever.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, that as if people don't want to like abuse reliever rules as is. That would be ridiculous. We pitched 20 innings in a series.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked last week. I don't know if we talked offline or online about that. That one of the community, what they seem to want a lot is like, how do we incorporate openers into Showdown? And it's just we've talked briefly about that, and it's just it opens a can of worms potentially for abuse of rules.
Yeah, I think for the 2026 set, I think I'll have enough like time in advance to put the legwork in on that. But I think that's the type of stuff that would show up in pennant runs. Is like Rocker or Bello for the Red Sox, who's been used as a like the multi-inning reliever. Like, how do you tagging them as an opener, and then we'll do a full episode probably on what that would look like and what are rules for that. Because I also like the third of an inning pitch guys in the pennant run, because I think those are cool to have guys who are like a potent chart for like 50 points, but they tire every out as opposed to every inning.
And how that plays into your roster construction and the roster rules would be interesting. Is it worth it or not? Yeah.
It's all like those type of things just give you a little bit of variety there. So, all right. So week 7 is in the book. You spoiled it a little bit last week that I was gonna cool off a little bit, and that absolutely happened. Did I go 1-3 against you?
Yeah, 1-3 was it was close games. I think we had a 14-inning marathon. I think one of the games was. So that was wonderful for the bullpens. So, but we talked previously in the year about what to do in extra inning situations, so that it wasn't as harmful to bullpens as it could have been.
Yeah. I think you're a bad matchup for me. I think you like neutralize a little bit of my power, and I think you can just like, torture me on the bases.
Yeah, because I think your catcher's a +6, so that goes eat that alive. As long as you get people on base, and Turner had a good series, so that goes well. And Ramirez is just out of this world right now, so I'm not looking forward to him cooling down because he can't keep on going at the clip he's going. But Schwarber continues to hit home runs, so I think he had 2 more in that series, so he's up to 19 on the year. Ohtani's coming around in MVP conversation along with Schwarber and Ramirez there. Some of the other hitters calmed down. J.P. Crawford calmed down a little bit. We talked earlier in the season about Taglia. I think he's almost down to a 750-ish OPS now, so he's kind of cooled off a lot with that.
Matt, so you're almost in the lead, but you don't have any like headliners here on the stats that I'm seeing. How do you feel about that?
I feel comfortable because I've been watching, and just like you, Yawggy's team there got me 1-3, and it was the same thing, just really close games, and I just got beat up by Ramirez. Bautista's allowed 1 run, which lost a game, so that could have split the series there. I believe it was Ramirez too, wasn't it? In that game, he's looking it up. I feel comfortable only because it's my team is able to win those close games and is able to stay in most games, so long as BB doesn't get blown up. Thankfully, Cameron stopped getting blown up. That was the bugaboo in our matchup. You just jumped all over Cameron and kind of flipped the series off the jump. But otherwise, it's been pretty steady games, and I'm blowing leads, but able to crawl back into it or go down early and crawl back into it. It's interesting to see the recaps of how it's like a regular baseball team where kind of the same heroes, but every once in a while there's a surprise hero that gets the boys back in it.
Yep. So in the second column here for stats, you'll see the RAC at the bottom. That's Colby's made-up statistic for Showdown. That's runs accounted for. And what that basically is you get a half a point for an RBI, you get half a point for a run. So every run basically gets divided in half. And Ramirez, as you'd expect, is killing everybody. He's accounting for an additional run per series more than the next closest person.
Yeah, and he's all I got on my team. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not looking forward to him cooling off because that means I'm going to start funneling down the standings there.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. Is like, so some guys are really good at one portion or the other, but Ramirez is probably one of the best in the league at doing both without overly relying on power, right? Like, so Schwarber gets like most of his whole runs because he drives himself in with the homers. But Ramirez is playing double duty. He's a cleanup hitter and a leadoff hitter at the same time to different parts of your lineup.
Yeah, because I think he's 18 to 20 on the home runs, but he's also speed A and has good contact. He's low walk, high singles, so it goes well.
So, all right, fringe guys again. Just the poor guy is like can't get variance to come back to normal on him.
Yeah, I think in this series the Crochet start was good until the end. Again, we talked about before having to extend pitchers beyond comfort level because of the lack of bullpen there. So
and Scooble had a 16 strikeout game. He had
complete game, 16 strikeouts with 3 walks, 5 hits, no runs allowed.
So yeah, his 2 aces are they're doing their job. So, all right, Matt, you're in on our 12-person league. You're drafting. You clearly have thoughts and opinions and some amount of strategy, which we can debate on later. How'd you get into Showdown initially?
Well, we were talking to Brett about it and going down memory lane. It was high school. I had a job, disposable income. He had just got a job, disposable income. I got into Magic. So after school, killing time before work, one of the science teachers had little Magic games going on. So I was trying to put together a pretty good weenie deck on white weenie deck, if you remember way back in the day. And I was trying to work on an angel deck. So we'd go to this card shop all the time on Main Street. And I'm looking for Magic cards, and he's always been into baseball cards. So the guy behind the counter is like, Magic? Baseball? Have you guys seen this? Showed it to us. I think I remember buying the starter set. He bought a couple packs. We got so into it so fast. I remember we even tried the NFL version when that came out a year later. That's kind of how it started. We'd play in the living room, do the little drafts. We throw out any duplicates because we both believe in, if I have the Jason Kendall, you can't have it. And just for, that's how it really works. There's only one of that person. And I think we played all summer. I do remember we're buying at retail though, because we didn't go all in. We didn't have that much disposable income as high school.
You weren't doing eBay. So I eBayed my as a Red Sox fan. I eBayed my Pedro Martinez because I had bought enough sealed product that it was clear that I needed to target individual cards at that point. Because
yeah, it was just him and me having fun with it. We would play all kinds of even house rules. Remember we did some all-star things where we just threw points out and just really to see what it was to simulate baseball, and that's what kind of got us both hooked because it really does simulate the game, if the charts are good enough. And if you look at even the league stats, even if we're halfway through, a lot of these cards are performing to how the player performed in 2025. It's actually nice. You are getting a baseball game out of it, but it's also fixing that need to collect the cards. That's from the baseball card collection side.
Yeah, I don't know how much Brett has told. So I was sending him notes on my 2024 set, and so there's some tinkering, and the goal is to try to put some TLC into the set where it feels like baseball and doesn't feel like Magic, where and I love Magic, but you can just imagine a dragon any which way you want to, right? For these, we want it to represent the player, the year, the team, the season. Do you remember what year you started? Which of the years?
Was it the 2021, the 2001 set, I think? It had to be somewhere there. It was my senior year of high school, 01, 2000. Yeah.
So it was this style. It wasn't the 02 with the inflated.
No, it was. I think it was specifically the 2000 set or 2001 set. So I remember when in college and afterwards looking at it, what I had in the boxes was 2001. First editions, unlimited, and pennant runs. So, yeah.
Awesome. So you were used to the 01 style relievers. So I assume like everybody, I assume life happens, you fall away. How do you get connected with the league here?
Through Brett. So he, I think, found the cards and decided to do the eBay thing, but in modern terms, and start putting together the sets. And then read it and found you guys, and then told me about the 6 team league, and he could tell I was like, oh wow, that sounds really cool and interesting. And then when he mentioned you were going to open it up, I was like, I went in. Um, had a spot, and then had to come up with a draft strategy in 30 seconds because it all happened so fast. But yeah,
You
and
did
I was
not
just like,
30 seconds. It took a month for us to draft.
well, no, but in terms of the notification of you're in and like prep time, plus the fact
Oh
like
yeah,
Monday to Thursday I have like no life. It's all work.
yeah. It is. It is a little tough because it's not the wizard set, right? So it's my wife is always shocked, right? Because I share the spreadsheet with everyone, and she's like, these guys have seen this stuff before, right? I'm like, not really, you know. And it's like,
Yeah,
and she's like, do any of them like bomb? Like, this is a lot of information to take in, like under a time crunch. I'm like, no, most of them put together like a coherent team. Like some of them, like some people may not fully understand the ramifications of the house rules of like the particular like tiredness rules or something, but nobody puts like a unintelligent team together that's been in our leagues yet.
yeah, and I got some useful information from your 16 league stats and which types of players perform certain ways. So I'll be able to put idea in my head on kind of what I wanted to do, but also have my own personal beliefs in how baseball should be played. So I kind of wedged that in there too. And then as the draft went and I was learning more and more about, well, not really learning, remembering and learning, I pivoted a bit in there. So that's why the team ended up as it is. If I were to redraft with my current knowledge, it would look nothing like this. Actually, I like your philosophy. It look a little more like yours. Um, but it's working, so can't complain with success.
No, yeah, it's absolutely working. So okay, so you mentioned you have philosophy, so you and then maybe you would lean in more. So you would have leaned more into the power. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so my philosophy is on base percentage. Just get on base and just always have an opportunity to score. But now, the game though has its own rules. So case in point, ground double plays. Major League Baseball teams, the best ones will average what 1.1, 1.2 a game. In Showdown, it's crazy high. Like, I had Brett break the stats down for me. It's way higher, and that's just because a ground ball
Oh
turns
yeah.
into a double play. So I would have looked at that. Speed would have either A, been a factor, or B, just been like, well, I'll just live with that, which means like Acuna, who is not hitting well but getting on base a ton, may or may not have been a pick there because my idea was I just want him on base. He's accomplishing that, but he's also not really able to move around. So that's creating some easy outs, and which is fine. I mean, he's still scoring. Um, Kurtz is driving him in, if not him. And that's where I pivoted later in the draft, why Alonso came in late, because I was thinking, well, I need a fail safe. If Kurtz doesn't drive him in, I need someone to. So I pivoted really quick to Alonso at the end. And I just wanted to keep my point threshold kind of even to spread the butter. So the philosophy of on base percentage, I was looking at 8 plus with decent on base charts. Didn't really care how you got on because the idea is eventually I'll crack in a run or two. And then pitching wise, I was mostly focusing on with advantage who's not going to get crushed and go from there.
Yep. Okay, so we'll break that down a little bit here. So as my cat is just took out a pencil sharpener, so that was fun in the background.
Still having fun with that adjustment.
Yep. So the cat doesn't know when recording time is. We need to train it there. So you went into this strategy, and I feel like I need a better name for it, right? So one offensive strategy that I deployed is power. I need the advantage, and I just want to like hit a home run when I get it, right? Like like the home run is the mechanism that's for scoring. Brett's strategy is speed, which is the basically get someone to second base and be able to score on outs, be able to score without getting the advantage. And then your strategy is the third pretty prominent offensive strategy, which is something along the lines of attacking with a deep lineup, that everybody can do a little bit of that. Maybe, a little bit of speed, a little bit of power, but it's attacking as a unit. No one hitter is disproportionately carrying the load, which is why you don't have necessarily a league leader like Brett does with Ramirez. Is that sounds like your strategy as you thinking about it?
That's the exact strategy. It's try to be able to score a run in every inning. And the other strategy in my team construction was when I realized bullpens are going to be a little short, especially on the back end. That's where I wanted to like pile some hitters up top, like the Alonso pick, where I maybe have an opportunity here to come back on bullpens because with a nice long 1 through 7, maybe stretch out a 1 through 8 lineup, these weaker bullpens in the late innings, I'm probably going to be able to come back in. And that's kind of like how I've been winning. Looking at the box scores, I kind of come back late because my lineup is just so long. I get enough people on base that they were able to sneak in. And then you have the Hammer Bautista come in, just not allowing you to come back on me that late. That was kind of my philosophy on the back half of our draft. And I feel like it's kind of working. It's kind of a testament to the league's draft. As the league was drafting, I saw a weak back half of lineups and weak back half of bullpens and played into it. So if you're going to have a weak bottom half of the lineup, I'm not going to go super strong on pitching. I'm going to try and just limit the damage in your 1 through 5 or 1 through 4, dominate the 5 through whatever, the 5 through 9, and then on the pitching, survive the starter, get into the bullpen. That's kind of the idea, because that's the philosophy of baseball that I watch and enjoy, especially, facing the Red Sox against Crochet. You're just trying to get Crochet out in the 5th or 6th, survive, don't allow too many runs, and beat up on the bullpen. But you want to get beat up early enough before you get to the Chapmans. So there is a window there where in real baseball, you got to get in. In this version, because it's humans taken out and it's all numbers, you just see that crack, and that's why I spread the butter out and have my team looking how it does, kind of spread out to try to do something in every inning.
Yep. So my like run accounted for stat that I was talking about earlier. I would bet if we charted your team that you would have the least variance through your lineup, right? It would be like, except for maybe Bailey, and Bailey's there to do something completely different, but like everyone else is probably accounting for like double-digit runs and pretty evenly split probably between runs scored and runs batted in.
Well, even Bailey, because I was looking at it earlier, he's at double digits runs. Acuna's in 19, Kurtz, Alonso in the 20s. Yeah, I think you're spot on. If I was glancing at it earlier, Brett's pulling up the stats now, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty spread out from 10 to 23 of your little stat there, which I really like.
Yeah, it's showing Austin Martin's the least at 9.5. Kurtz is the most at 22, but he's got 9.5, 10, 10, 12, 13, 17, 19, 21, 22. So nobody that's at lighting the world on fire, but nobody that's really low either. I think we lost Colby to the cat here for a minute, so.
Cat got on the counter. How much dead air did we just have right there?
No, a couple seconds. That's as I was saying. I was pulling up his stats for his team, and it was Austin Martin's the worst at 9.5, and then it's 10, 10, 12, 13, 17, 19, 21, 22. Yeah. So top at 22, lowest at 9.5. So yeah.
So the side quest of this evening is we bought like one of those pre-frozen like multi-flavor cheesecakes. So I'm like, I'll take a piece out, and after I get done recording, it'll be thawed. And the cat has figured this out. So.
A cat that likes human food, great. that's gonna be a struggle.
Yeah. This is great. So this is my subplot. It's gonna be restrained in future episodes. Yeah. So offensively, yeah, very flat again. And if Bailey's producing offensively, like that's great because he's doing. He's carrying the load. He's probably more on a part of your pitching staff than anything else. Speaking of which, let's go to the. So your thoughts? Double plays are crazy high in this set. So when we started seeing the stats from the 6-team league and then this one, This is the first time I've done a full set with the bot as opposed to like by hand, and we figured out that like every batter could basically go with another speed or two, like plus like single digit, like go from 14 to 15, one or two, and then anybody who can walk out to shortstop is a +3 at least. Like if that was the bar for middle infield defense that we've established. The bot's just generous on middle infield defense. So future sets, that'll get all tailed down, and hopefully the double plays get closer to like 1 a game and not what's the high? What did we figure out that the best teams are doing in our league? Or
on average, the best teams are doing 3 to 4 a game, I think.
Yeah, it's just double.
So, well, yeah, I think we mentioned in previous episodes. There's a team that their infield defense is a +16. So even against your speed A guys, it's almost a guaranteed double play. So yeah.
So.
And I think Matt's team is the least. I think his infield defense is a +5. So that's more on the realistic side. I think +7 is kind of like what you'd expect to see as far as how the stats would roll out. Yeah.
Yeah, 5's kind of like where you'd want like more. I think I'd like more people there, and then like if somebody's trying to commit to that double-digit number, they're really limited in their card pool.
Right, and it's like we've talked about in the past. You can just with this set, you can just stumble into a +12 defense, no problem.
Yeah, like the number one guy that I'm like looking at if it was gonna do like updates. My cheesecake is at high risk right now. Is like Cronenworth at like a pair like +4 at 2 different positions is like, yeah, that should be +2s. So. All right.
Yeah, especially for those multi-position guys. Yeah. And for somebody like Cronenworth, he's not a shortstop. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah, if people play multiple positions, it gives them like the benefit of the doubt. Where I would round down. I think it rounds up. There's a couple of things like that. All right. It's half the game is scoring runs. You're doing a great job at that. The other half is preventing runs. So here's your, you have 2 guys who have a 17 walk, 18 to 20 single, and then you have Jason Alexander, so who's bald. I'm sorry. I have to get my Seinfeld in there. And then your 4 starter has the most wins of anyone in the league. So walk us through like your strategy around pitching. Matt, are you saving my cheesecake?
He went silent. I don't know. Okay, it's not coming through now.
Not coming through. Get kicked out here. Brett, what do you think about Matt's pitching? I'm going to go check out my cheesecake.
Sure, I can talk for a minute about his pitching. Yeah, I think the Brandon Pfaadt leading the league in wins at 5. I think it's a pretty solid number 4 compared to a lot of the other 4s in the league. So I think there's a big advantage there to limit the runs in the early game, and like you said, beat up on bullpens so he can get the lead. And while Pfaadt's still in there, hold it with everybody else there. The bullpen is top loaded with Batista with most points there. It's walking a fine line with when Cano and Zerpa are coming in, especially. Can I get them in when it's 7, 8, 9, or 6, 7, 8, in order to take advantage of the weaker back half of lineups there. So when they've gotten hit, it's when it's been people are tired, things are going bad, and Cano's got to go 1, 2, 3 or something like that, But for the longest time, the bullpen was the top bullpen in the league, honestly. But the last couple series have been less. They've been regressing to the mean, I think.
So stealing an inning with either of those guys is huge. That seems to be big, as if you can bring them in like 6, 7, 8. The problem with either of those guys is we're having technical difficulty. The problem with either of like Zerpa or Cano is like if you try to go like 6, 7, 8 or 7, 8, 9, and now all of a sudden like you get to the leadoff hitter with 2 guys on.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, if they allow any runners, then it's like, oh, now what do you do? Like, do you burn Bladzinski for one of his innings? And yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, how valuable is getting out of this with a 0?
Right. What? Yeah, and that's also like, okay, are you winning by 4? Are you losing by 4? Is it a tie game? That comes into it too, and it makes it. And a lot of these games, and most of the games in this league are really close games, and so it makes it hard to be like, okay, it's a tie game. Cano is, by tired rules, the best option here, but by logical baseball sense, I really should be putting him in. So, what do we do? Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think. The 2 inning pitch guy is leaning pretty heavy, like lean on them. Do we lose Matt entirely at this point?
I think he's restarting. Think he can try. Yeah.
We just talk trash.
Let's just trash his team now. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, now that he's not on. So here's where we're going to critique the team, and hopefully Matt doesn't hop on to listen to this later.
I hear you already.
You hear everything.
I'm back in.
So the interesting part of the league, and I like the no redundancy that you guys are believers in that, is like there's 10 2-inning pitched relievers and there's 12 teams. So not everyone's going to get one.
Yeah. So some of that was my strategies there. Sorry, I got my thing rolling back. Real fast, recap my pitching staff. So I had some information again, what your top teams, the bottom teams spent on pitching. So I took that number and kind of like aimed for it. So I just had like the 5-4-3-2 idea in my starting staff, 500, 400, 300, 200, and just kind of fish from there. Also realizing that so many people by the time I was even picked a pitcher had gone with that giant, huge point ace. Hey, someone that for game 4 is going to be free. Well, for her against a lot of teams. So I wanted someone quality back there. So that's why I actually went like instead of 5-4-3-2, I went 5-4-3-3 with my idea in terms of 100 points, which has created the bullpen problem. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to have such a weak bullpen, but I had committed too many points, in my opinion, to starters in terms of the spreading it out to get a game. That I end up with this weird bullpen situation, and that's why I wanted to go heavy with Bautista. One, for the kind of the same reason you went with Chapman. Like, how good are these really good relievers? Because at this point, I'm also playing like the fantasy, what can happen game, but also just for that control 4, that stat sheet, throw them out there for 2 innings if you have to, as long as a starter doesn't get blown up. But with the 2-inning pitcher, I knew I had to get one of those.
I don't think we laid this out.
There you go.
Oh, yep. Yeah, you absolutely got one of those, and that's huge. So one thing we didn't clarify, and it's going to help you out a ton when we get to the playoffs, is that in the playoffs it'll be a 3-man rotation, and your 4th guy will become a 2-inning pitch guy. And for most teams, that's going to be just about useless. Right, like they're just gonna get like an extra Cano that can pitch 2 innings and like save them from having to like trash their bullpen to survive. You actually pick up like a meaningful arm in relief. Like you pick up a quality relief pitcher by putting your 4th starter into the bullpen. So that I think that could help you out a lot.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's really going to help me out. So that way, when that perfect 6, 7, 8 on some of these teams come up, that's when you actually throw Cano. But when you're kind of in that trapped, someone got on base and the lineup turned over, you can yank them out, and now you can throw who would be it? Is it Fott? You can throw Fott out there and give you a quality arm. Or Fott went earlier, and now you can Vestas, who normally had been getting used, now Vestas available, trying to bridge that gap to get back to Bautista. So, yeah, you're right. That's going to be a huge advantage on my team because it fixes that need, and it's going to fix the problem for what's that other team? It actually give them a bullpen. I forget who that
guys?
Is. Yeah, him.
The problem is
if they can crawl back into it.
Yeah, his 4th guy is Cade Povich, who's a 0 control. So, yeah.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, his best quality is he is in fact like a rectangle with a picture of a baseball player on him, so he can pitch. But that's his best quality, right? You're actually gaining like a draft-worthy arm. Like if I had to go check, I think you're getting the best reliever in the playoffs.
Might be, but with you talking about limited, the 12 teams, only 10 2-inning pitchers, had to get that, and then also cheap bench weren't enough for everybody. So went into the draft strategies too of about halfway through looking at the set finally for the first time and realizing, oh, okay, you got to grab certain very, very specific players or you're just going to be holding the bag.
Yeah, you didn't end up holding the bag. So I was impressed by your draft strategy that you actually got like a lot of the key pieces. So whether it was the hitters, whether it was the pitchers, like obviously your team's performing excellently. What are your thoughts on like the set, the league, anything there before we let you go here?
Um, uh, on the set, it was about halfway through I realized, wow, this thing's really deep in infield hitting. It's extremely shallow in like center field hitting. And that has everything to do with what the players did. Defense is way too high. And that's just because, again, we're playing like a dice game instead of real life. So just think human element gets taken out, which is good and bad. That's why the double plays, in my opinion, are so high versus low, because let's just face reality. Runner on first or second double play situation, the batter's doing everything in their power to not hit a ground ball up to and including strikeout. And it's not like we have charts that'll adjust due to the situation. Um, Plus, we watch baseball. We know guys kicking balls around, and the fact that Cronin's worth of four is kind of silly. Um, Other than that, the set's playing pretty realistic. Um, that's one of the parts that I really like
Yeah,
about the
and that.
game
Hmm.
because it is realistic. These guys, Cano, doing great this year, was not good last year. He is that guy that you had to like be careful when you bring him in. And you can get great results if you put him in the right matchups, but you get him in the wrong matchup, and that ERA went from point something up to like I think it's up to three something now. That's just what happens. You get trapped. You have a strategy, but it is baseball. It's random, like you were talking about before. And it's not Magic. In Magic, if you have a set strategy and you play that strategy and you do the one or two alterations, you're probably going to win. We play another board game, same thing. If you have a set strategy in this board game and you're able to handle a couple curveballs, you're going to win. But in this game, I mean, Adolis Garcia is out here tearing the world up for no reason, other than for whatever reason, he gets a 20 whenever he's at bat. So, but then you have Soto who's getting tens or lower when he's at bat. It's what it is, and that's what makes it random. And that's also makes it baseball, where you have players that are, why are they so bad when we know they're good? Gunnar Henderson this year. At the same time, why are they looking so good? We know they're good. Gunnar Henderson right now. So that's what's beautiful about the game and the card sets um, and fun because it's baseball is basically this game. Eventually, guys return to the norm. It's just it might not be in the same season. It might be next year, just like here in the Showdown League where Noah Cameron looked awful. I was hating that pick, and Brett kept reassuring me, and here he is pitching like an ace finally. So it's that's what makes it fun because just like baseball, it's every pitch is a roll of a dice, and in this game, it actually is a roll of a dice.
Yeah, mean, I think you're well positioned. I think you could take it all down here. Yeah, on your criticisms, like the defense thing, like we've noted that, like that's like, I don't know how much you play around with the bot. So the whole set was made with the bot and like a little bit of photoshopping. Like doing these two leagues has shown to me that's like the bot, like the three things the bot does that like all gear towards the double plays are pitchers get a lot. I think pitchers get more ground balls than they should on their charts. The runners are a little bit slow, and the infield defense is crazy. So, like your criticism there is like totally heard, and like trying to do everything to make sure that when the 2026 set comes out, that's toned down and people aren't just getting rally killing all the time.
Yeah, I started playing with the bot
Brett, any
recently,
thoughts here?
and it's pretty fun too, just to put players in the bot to see just how crazy they would be. Like Mason Miller earlier, that 1-19 strikeout guard that would be stupid, or Garcia on the Orioles, who up until last week was a 1-19 out and a 20 walk. So it's like just seeing real life players and like saying, hey, what would this look like in a showdown card? And seeing it and being like, that's amazing. And then you see the points, and you're like, oh, I'm not getting that one. So that's the other part too, is the salary cap part of it. That's what also makes it more fun, unlike unfiltered fantasy, because you do have to put that extra element in there, and that's where like your Alex Verdugo gets on a team, which amazingly he's performing. If you look at the stats, I'm actually kind of jealous of that card, because I got guys that cost 200 points more doing the exact same thing, but at the same time, I don't have a 400 point player performing the same way. So that's what also makes it fun. Like I think you made a comment a podcast or two ago. It's like, is Garcia is on Chapman or Bautista, the 16 innings they pitched, is it really worth the points we got into them? I mean, we'll know at the end of the day. I think mine's worth it because looking at my bullpen, it probably loses the games without him. But that's also what makes it fun because you have to go outside the box, and I have to drop to Jonathan India, if you will, because of the budget.
Yeah, it's the numbers right where people have flaws. They can't get everything. Like that's where you want the salary cap to between the limited card pool and the salary cap. You want people to feel some tension. You don't want it to be all tension where it's like I'm knife fighting for every competent player, but so it feels like the set's good there. Again, it's more the artistic, changes, and we got to get the bot guy on here and put the screws to him now that we have data. I should probably reach out to him before we air this episode.
Yeah, throwing him under the bus now too. Yeah,
no,
that's what this is all about.
This wouldn't exist without him. Like,
yeah, exactly.
like I just wouldn't do it. Like I know how much time it takes to do it without the bot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine.
Brett, any thoughts before we head out here?
No, I think everything's going well. So nothing major to report. Everything's rolling along.
Yeah, I will report back on my cheesecake next week, which is hopefully still in one piece. All right, this has been another week of This Week in Showdown. Have a great week.